I am Metal and welcome to the Horror House. This is episode 1 of Horror House Art, where we are all about creating monsters, creatures, pretty much anything that goes bump in the night. And in this video, with of course the help of Twitch chat, we make a disgusting little creature. Some would say it's adorable. Others would call it very disturbing. Chat gave us 4 descriptive words, and we took those 4 words and we kind of mashed them all together to create a little sculpture, a little creature sculpture. Those words are buttocks, propeller hat, bulging eyes, and pizza. Not gonna lie, with those 4 words, it took a little bit of trial and error to come up with something. We did this in about an hour, maybe 2 hours, a little speed sculpt, and it was quite a challenge, but the results I am pretty happy with. Feel free to follow along and let's jump into sculpting. As you can see, we got those 4 words up in the left hand corner, and those are the words we got to work with. So we just start with a sphere. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do with it. I was thinking we're gonna make a line down the middle and maybe create a butt from the sphere and maybe give it a mouth eating some pizza and a little hat. But soon I decided, you know what, I just wasn't feeling this, so kind of start just to pull out shapes here, trying to get a general shape of what I want. You know, maybe pull this out, it could be a chin, or maybe my thought process here was, well, what if we pull down kind of like an appendage and give it like a butt on the front? It's not really looking too much like a butt at the moment, but bear with me. It does become something that might resemble some dangly bits, but let's just say it's the mouth, okay? We carve out the eye sockets using, I think, the standard brush. Honestly, you can use any kind of brush you want. This is ZBrush, if you guys weren't aware of that. It's a 3D sculpting program. Here we bring in the eyes, and I'm thinking I do want to make one eye smaller than the other because I do like that kind of like weird look to it. But at this point, I'm not going to do that yet because I want to build out the forms first. So we got the clay build-up brush here with a nice circle alpha, and we're just kind of bringing in that kind of brow ridge around the eye sockets here. You know, I'm thinking it's kind of looking like a fly, maybe like an alien fly of some sort. And we just kind of keep building out this little sack appendage mouth thing. You know, my first thought was, this is what the butt's gonna be. Of course, it's not looking anything like a butt.
Oh my.
Maybe a little bit more provocative. And that was not intentional at all. Continuing to refine the forms a little bit, and I decided, you know what? Bring out the butt on the back, you know? Maybe this is like a little fly creature, nothing, you know, too big. He's like a little round little body, a small little thing. But eventually you'll see the true girth of this creature. And this is the butt, so what do we do to give a butt? Well, we give it a hole. Through this video, you might say, Metal, you sure spent a lot of time on that butthole. Well, yep, maybe too much time. Of course, you know, you gotta make the butt look like a butt. It's got a big kerthunkadunk, and I kind of like that. I do. We got the clay build-up brush here with that circle alpha, and we're just kind of adding in a little bit more detail, trying to figure out, you know, what the brow is going to kind of look like here. I do enjoy how it's starting to shape a little bit here. Kind of look like a little bit of Giger there. Now I'm thinking, let's add a little bit of cheekbones here. And honestly, I think this was a good move because it kind of brings out a little bit more of a characteristic in this creature, this little fly thing. I know flies don't have cheekbones, but kind of gives it that more of a silly, cartoony look to it. How could we make this even more disturbing? Well, why not, you know, give it a little belly? We kind of add in like the sternum and the collarbone, and we kind of shape the little moobs here. Delicious, succulent moobs. A little bit of nipples. Those are just placement nipples. We do come back to refine the nipples a bit more. This is all just rough forms at this point, and we will come back in later to kind of bring out that detail. Though this creature doesn't really need too much detail. On the back here, I decided let's have this fly have a spine. I don't know fly anatomy very well, but I wanted this fly to have a spine, like it was protruding out the back. Maybe this fly was a human at some point. It still has maybe some bony landmarks in it. So we just kind of start carving in where I think the spine should be. Bring in a sphere, and then we kind of shape it to look like a spinal column a little bit here. It doesn't have to be crazy. And, you know, I'm happy with it. It's not too detailed, not too crazy. And we just kind of multiply it and move things into place here. We start to add a little bit more detail because I really wanted to have like flesh, almost like it was swollen a bit where the spine kind of popped out here. Or maybe gone into a battle and, you know, another fly try to eat him. But, you know, we wanted to make it look like fleshy and gross. We pen a sphere here and we kind of shrink it down. This will eventually become the little propeller hat. Now I'm just trying to figure out how I want it to look, how small it should be. Don't want it too big. We just kind of cut it in half, smooth it out a little bit there, and then we're gonna duplicate it here. I was thinking it should be like maybe like a little fishing hat, but I didn't really like how it was looking, so we kind of just shape it into a hat, dynamesh it all together, fit it into place, and then we append a cylinder here, which we're going to extend, and this is going to be the shaft of the propeller. Append a sphere right there, which will be the rotation over the propeller hat will rotate. Now this fly is not going to have any wings, it's just going to have the hat, and that's how it flies with the little propeller. I kind of like the idea, something different, and fly wings, they're hard to make. Bring in a square and we just kind of shape it into what's going to be the top of this, the propeller. This did take some fine tuning. I kept trying to figure out a shape for it, trying to twist it and turn it, trying to make it into a propeller, because propellers aren't, well, on these hats, they're not really like straight, right? They have a bit of a curve to them, and I really couldn't get the curve set, so I tried pulling, extruding. I ended up having a happy accident where I masked the center of it and we twisted a little bit, and we get this really, really awesome shape. And it's got a cool little bend to it as well. So it's not just straight, and it's honestly looking like a great propeller for the hat, and I couldn't be happier. This is the time where we shrink the eye down because I wanted to give that like a bit of a cartoony look. I don't want to go too realistic with this thing, and we just kind of bring in the forms. I think it's important to break symmetry, especially in these programs, because you don't want everything looking super clean and perfect, because nothing is perfect. You look at a person's face and it's never perfectly symmetrical. There's always little things that are off about it. So we start to define a little bit of the shapes here. I'm not too sure how many creases a butthole has. Try our darndest, and it starts to take shape, smooth it out a little bit. We append a little cylinder here, which will be, well, it doesn't look right at the moment. Sure, I know what you're thinking. It's not that. These are going to be its little arms, where flies have these, not arms, but more like tongues that kind of come out. Or they like eat pizza, they barf on it, and then they suck it up with their tongues or something like that. I could be wrong, but I didn't know they have these like little tongues that come out of their mouth. They can like feel and eat. I know it's looking like something entirely different, but we're just gonna keep rolling with it. Bring in a cylinder here, and we kind of just flatten it out, which this is gonna be the base of it. If I do want to 3D print this, then, you know, having a base, I think it's a must. I've never 3D printed before, but I like having a simple base, nothing too crazy. Then on this base, we bring another box in, which is gonna be the pizza. And we kind of flatten it out, and we're trying to find a good triangular shape to this as we try and cut it down and make it kind of look like pizza. Pizzas are triangle in nature, right? We mask off one of the ends and we inflate it to make the crust, and then we move that up a little bit. We kind of get our clay build-up brush here and kind of bring in some detail to that crust. Nothing crazy, just, you know, it's kind of look like a little bumpy, look crust-like. And then we start making the cheese here with a mask, and then we're going to invert that mask, and then we're going to inflate it, which, boom, we have cheese, saucy cheese. And then here we bring in the pepperoni, which are just some cylinders that are flattened out. And we kind of just dynamesh everything together. If I could redo this pizza, I'd probably not dynamesh it all together. But with the dynamesh together, it does look like cheese is kind of sticking to the pepperoni like a real pizza. So maybe I wouldn't do anything different. Break symmetry, and we kind of just start pulling the pizza a little bit because, you know, pizzas aren't symmetrical. Sometimes they sag, sometimes one piece is bigger than the other. Maybe it's a really greasy piece of pizza. The greasier the pizza, the better. That's why this flies here. We mask out the bottom, which is gonna be sauce from the pizza. We extract the mesh and we just kind of smooth everything out. We go back to the base, we mask it, invert the mask, and then we just kind of go to our little gizmo tool here and we bring it out. Kind of give it a little bit more of a shape there. Make it look nicer so it's not just a plain cylinder. We pan a sphere, bring it down, which is going to be the sauce. Although it might look like he might be having a prolapsed butthole here. You were just having a little fun there. Just, okay, you can stop. You can, yeah. Okay, that's just a little disturbing now that I'm watching this. We get Dynamesh and we start to kind of shape what sauce should look like. We don't want it having a straight line down. We want to kind of have it look like it's like maybe it's a thick sauce that's pouring out of the bottom. Now, a lot of this was with the help of chat, of course, and we're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on Twitch where we do live art streams. So if you want to come on over, link will be down in the description below. Now, I wanted this sauce to have a bit of a splash to it, you know. It's a thick sauce, so the splashing has to be thicker instead of small, right? I don't want any pieces flying off of it because I do want to 3D print this when I do get a 3D printer. We use the inflate brush to kind of bring some girth to it. You know, it's a chunky sauce all the way up to the butthole. Of course, you know, it's got a taper at the end there. I start to add a bit of detail here, trying to figure out, well, if a fly was pooping out sauce, how would the sauce look as it's coming out? You know, it's very important to visualize this. I don't really like how it's looking right now. These rings that I put around the sauce are kind of throwing it off, so we kind of get rid of that. We get rid of a lot of that ring detail, not too much, and we just kind of move with the flow here, kind of making it flow downwards. Maybe the fly's eating the pizza and then it's pooping it back out onto the pizza, so it can be a continuous eating. That's kind of messed up. We add some mask here, which we're going to extract, and that's going to be the sauce that is spilling onto the pizza, which is also underneath the pizza. So far, it's looking, well, a little erotic. I was not aware of what it actually looked like until around this point, and this fly's maybe a little bit sexual. Didn't mean for that to happen. Now I'm trying to figure out the fly's eyes. I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to make those flies' eyes look like flies' eyes. Try adding some noise. We tried doing some alphas, but it looked more like a rock than anything. And you know what? I decided just to go for the cartoony look, bring it in a sphere. Going to shrink that down a little bit, and that's going to be the pupil of the fly's eyes. And I didn't want them to both be right in the middle here, so we just trying to adjust it. Maybe we give him a little bit of a derpy look. I really like the whole look of one of the eyes is kind of going off to the side there. Like maybe he's not all there. Maybe he's really enjoying his pizza. And of course, for the mouth, we have to add some mouth veins. You can ask anyone. Mouth veins are a thing. Yeah, it helps suck up the food. Now, we went with a pretty lighter green here for the body color. And of course, the eyes are white and the pupils, I think, we decided were black. Give them that cartoon look. We decided the hat will be blue, and then the little propeller on top is red. The spine is white, of course. We look for a nice reddish pizza sauce. It looks like he's pooping out blood. Maybe he is. Maybe he had a hemorrhoid that popped. But we decided that it is sauce. The pizza is brown because maybe it's burnt or something. Mask everything here except for the cheese on the top. Fill the color in with yellow. Boom. We have cheese, and then we just kind of go in there. We clean it up a little bit. And then this kind of makes it easier to go back in there and start painting the pepperoni pieces. And then we got to paint, of course, the bumhole. A nice pink color. Some say buttholes are pink, some say buttholes are brown. But this guy's butthole is pink. Now we're going to break up the green here with some fleshy tones. Redefine the nipples here. Really make them pop a little bit more. Like, I really love the color of these nipples. For the spine, you know, we're going to paint it red because spine is protruding through the back and it's going to be bloody maybe. And then here you have it, the finished piece of pizza fly pooping on pizza. A disgusting little fly that loves to eat pizza and poop out sauce onto it. I had a lot of fun making this little creature guy over on Twitch. Like I said, if you want to come check out the art streams, we're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. You can expect a lot more stuff like this on the channel and possibly some clay stuff. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next spooky creature video.